In the quiet neighborhoods of early 20th century New York, a shadowy figure walked among unsuspecting families. Albert Fish, known later as the Gray Man, was a predator who hid behind the facade of a frail and unassuming old man. But beneath his harmless exterior lay a story that would horrify the world. A story of unspeakable acts and unimaginable darkness. Today, we revisit one of the most chilling figures in American history, a man whose name still sends shivers down spines. Albert Fish was born in 1870 in Washington, D.C., into a family plagued by mental illness and instability. His childhood was marked by neglect and trauma, and he was sent to an orphanage where the seeds of his twisted nature began to take root. The abuse he endured there left deep scars, both physical and emotional, shaping him into a person who would later embrace the pain and suffering of others as a macabre form of pleasure. As an adult, Fish seemed ordinary, even kind. He worked as a house painter and raised a family, blending seamlessly into society. But behind closed doors, he harbored a secret life so disturbing that it defied understanding. He developed an obsession with religious texts, twisting their meanings to justify his darkest impulses. He believed he was chosen to carry out acts that would satisfy not just his own desires, but those of a higher power. A delusion that would lead to a series of horrifying crimes. Fish targeted children, preying on their innocence and vulnerability. What made him especially terrifying was his cunning. He posed as a grandfatherly figure, gaining the trust of families before revealing his true intentions. His crimes were calculated, deliberate, and utterly chilling in their execution. The most infamous case that cemented his place in criminal history was the disappearance of 10-year-old Grace Budd in 1928. Fish had initially approached the Budd family under the guise of offering their eldest son a job, but his real plan unfolded when he convinced them to let him take Grace to a supposed birthday party. Grace never returned. For years, her fate remained a mystery. Her family left in agony, grasping for answers. The case finally broke open in 1934 when Fish, consumed by a twisted need to taunt his victims' families, sent a letter to Grace's mother. The contents of the letter revealed the horrifying truth of what had happened to Grace. It was this letter that led the police to Fish, and his arrest brought his nightmarish story to light. During his trial, Albert Fish showed no remorse. Instead, he described his actions with chilling indifference, even pride. His behavior in court stunned everyone present. The jury was left grappling with a question that continues to haunt criminologists and psychologists. Was Fish driven by madness, or was he fully aware of his actions and simply embraced evil? Albert Fish was convicted and sentenced to death. In 1936, he faced the electric chair at Sing Sing prison, his final moments as eerie as his life. His last words reportedly reflected his fascination with pain, leaving the world with one final reminder of the darkness that had consumed him. The story of Albert Fish is one that lingers, not just because of his crimes, but because of the way he shattered the illusion of safety that families once felt. His ability to blend into society while harboring such darkness serves as a stark reminder of how evil can sometimes hide in plain sight. These stories are difficult to hear, but they remind us of the resilience of those who seek justice and the importance of staying vigilant. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who appreciates uncovering the darkest corners of history. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Together, we'll continue exploring the stories that remind us of humanity's capacity for both light and darkness.